Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm Lily, and I will be your host for today. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Revolutionizing Bank Reconciliation with AI, Introducing Copilot and Dynamics Business Central. It's going to be a great session, and we're so excited to have you with us. Before we get started, I do need to quickly cover a few housekeeping details. First, you may have noticed that you're currently on mute, but don't worry, you can still interact with us by submitting any questions using the question box located on the GoToWebinar panel. If you happen to run into any technical issues during the session, feel free to use that same question box and we'll assist you as soon as possible. We'll try our best to address all your questions during the presentation, but if we happen to run out of time, don't worry, our team will follow up with you via email, or you can connect with your Velosio account manager for further details. All right, let's get started. I'm excited to introduce Manjula Dupati, who will be leading today's session. Thanks for joining us, Manjula. I'm happy to let you take it away from here.
Thank you, Lily, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me in this session as I talk about my three favorite topics, Business Central, Bank Recs, and Copilot. I'm assuming that a lot of you are end users who are using Business Central in their day-to-day lives. We are seeing a big shift in finance, where automation is becoming not just a nice to have, but a necessity. I hear from many of my clients that they are working longer hours to keep up with the demands of month-end closings and reconciliations. So for my end users, I am hoping my goal today is for you to discover new ways to make your reconciliation process easier and more efficient, especially by using Copilot. And for those of you who aren't using BC yet, don't worry. You'll still find these ideas helpful as automation is becoming essential in finance. Today's agenda will cover some key areas of bank reconciliation. And as Lily said, if there are any questions, put them in the comments section or reach out to her. We have an exciting agenda as I talk about the challenges of manual bank reconciliation, how to set up a bank import, automation with Copilot, reporting and audit trails, and also best practices for bank reconciliation. By the end of the session, you'll understand the bank rec process in BC. You'll know how to import and manage bank statements. And most importantly, you'll learn how to fully utilize Copilot to automate this process. So just a little bit about me, a quick intro. My name is Manjula Dhupati. I've been working in Business Central / NAV for over 10 years at the same company. This month was actually my 11th year anniversary at Velosio. I'm a principal consultant here who works on end-to-end implementation experience, starting from requirements, the A&D phase, all the way to training, go-live support, and also do project management. So looking forward to knowing you more. All right, bank recs. Let's start with the basics. Bank reconciliation is basically the process of matching transactions from your bank statement with your ledger entries. Now, I know many of you are doing this manually. It's okay, no judgment. But hopefully, we can show you how Copilot can help you with this. So usually you have a bank, and Business Central can connect to a bank online. You have the bank ledger. If it matches, you reconcile your statement. If it doesn't, you add some journal entries and then you close your books. That's kind of the basic process, which I'm sure most of you are aware of. We all know that manual reconciliation can be a pain. It's time consuming, there is a high risk of errors, and managing large volumes of transactions is tough. There's also the risk of missing fraud if transactions are not thoroughly reconciled. I know everyone has stories about someone missing something in a reconciliation that caused a headache later on. I had a client who used spreadsheets for reconciliation. They had hundreds of transactions per day. and the finance team spent hours manually reconciling the bank statements. Each month, they'd fall behind because of the sheer volume. Once they adopted Business Central, this team reduced their reconciliation time by 70%. So they could get time to focus on more strategic work, more fun work. Think about this. How much time and energy could your team save with automation? So some of you may have heard about the bank rec process and Copilot, and you may have gone into BC, excited to play with the new features. You may have searched and you may have found this bank reconciliation page with the reconcile button. However, if you click on that, you'll get a really long informative message, which basically says that you need to set up a bank statement format. Now you can connect to the bank online using Yavrio, Yardley, or any of these other third-party solutions, and it pulls in the transactions automatically. I will tell you that for certain banks, this is seamless. It saves a ton of manual work, but not everyone prefers doing that. So for today, I'm going to show you how if you are not directly connected to an online bank, you can still manually import your bank statements. Anyone who has set up data exchange definitions in the past, this is so much easier. Your bank statement needs to be in a CSV format, which is basically Excel. The date has to be in the regional format. Also, most banks like PNC, Wells Fargo, they will have separate fields for withdrawals and deposits. For Business Central, you need to have a single field, which is the amount field, with both the negatives and the positives. We use the bank statement file format wizard to easily create an import format. It's much easier than a data exchange definition. You download the file from your bank, you upload the bank statement file, and then you set it up, right? It just says the bank statement file has successfully uploaded. Then it tries to match the file that you have uploaded and match the columns. Right? It looks at the date format, it looks at the decimal separator, and it also looks at the amount. Now, if you're dealing with multiple banks, each of them may have different formats. And Business Central allows you to configure these formats very easily too. And then you finish it, and that's it. It's probably going to take you less time than I took to explain it for you to set up a bank export-import setup. Now let's talk about Copilot. This is where things get really exciting and it's a game changer. Copilot uses AI to automatically match your bank statement lines with your ledger entry lines. As it learns from your actions, it gets better over time. So for those using manual recs, imagine cutting down that process from hours to minutes. In the next slide, I'm going to show you a little video just to give you a glimpse of how it works.
Hi, Manjula. I don't know if we can hear the video or the audio on those for some reason.
Oh, thanks for letting me know that, Lily. Can I reshare my screen again?
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, let's try that again.
143 point.
Going to start at the beginning.
Microsoft has
Lily, can you
provided us some
confirm?
sample data in
Yep, it's
business
working.
to understand how Copilot works for bank account recs. You can access the sample data by going to Cash Management, Bank Account Reconciliation, and you will see a list page containing one line. You can, of course, click Reconcile here with the Copilot logo. What I am going to do is open up that page and click Reconcile with Copilot. Before I do that, let's look at the bank account ledger entries. The first line seems like a simple match. The transaction date is the same, 118, and the amount is the same, 2,743.90. Using the built-in Business Central algorithm, it would be automatically matched. Now let's look at the other two lines. The second line has the same statement amount of 4,115.85, but the transaction dates are different. The third bank statement line for 10,975.60 is actually the sum of the third and fourth lines in the bank account ledger entries. Let's see if Copilot can figure out what we can do. I'm going to click Reconcile with Copilot. That uses the Business Central algorithm as well as it calls Copilot. So it auto-matched the first line, but it also matched the other two lines. The second line, it says that the transaction date is 121 and the dates are different, but it matched it. And the third one, it takes one and it applies it to multiple entries. I can drill down to look at the two entries that it is applied to, deposit 4 and deposit 3. I'm going to click back on. Now I can decide to keep it or discard it. I'm good with what Copilot has proposed, so I am going to keep it. Now you will see that there are matches, everything's green, right? So the bank statement lines have matched with the bank account ledger entries. There is a difference of 0, and so I can post this. And it's as simple as that, right? I've posted it. I open the bank account statement and I know what's happened. This is my second level of reconciling and validation.
So as you can see, Copilot reduces a lot of extra work and it cuts down bank recs to minutes or less.
Microsoft has provided us some sample.
Copilot also helps streamline the posting process. It can suggest an appropriate GL account to post to, and with each reconciliation, it gets smarter. That means over time, it requires even less manual intervention. So I just joke that Copilot doesn't get old and forgetful like me. It just gets smarter the more you use it. I'm going to click on this video and Lily, let me know if you can't hear it, but this will show you how to streamline the posting process.
Let's look at another scenario where we have two additional lines. One for a water bill that is automatically paid, and the second for a bank fee. We are going to use Copilot to reconcile, and you will see that there are three lines matched automatically. We're going to keep these lines, and then you can see that the green visually indicates the lines that are matched. You will notice that the third line in the bank statement is matched to the last two lines on the bank account ledger entry, but there are no ledger entries for water bill or the bank fee. I am going to go to Show and just say Show Non-Matched. It shows the unmatched entries, and then I'm going to select these entries, go to the Copilot icon, and post the difference to GL account. This allows Copilot to suggest some payments where the water bill can be posted against. or the bank fee. In this case, it's suggesting account 60240 for water and sewerage for property. I'm good with that. In this case, it's the banking fees. I'm good with that. If you do not like the account that is suggested by Copilot, you can click on it. It opens the GL account and you can pick whichever account you want. In this case, I'm just going to cancel because I like what Copilot has suggested. You can also click on the save, so it is saved for future entries and future reconciliations. Similarly, I'm going to click save here and it just saves it for future entries. I am going to pick just going to pick a general journal and the monthly batch in this case, and I am going to keep it. In this case, what Copilot is doing is creating a transaction for these two lines and posting it to the ledger entries. I'm going to keep it. It goes and it auto posts it. Now you will see that my non-matched entries are blank. When I click show all, there is an auto payment for water bill and a bank fee. You can see the matching. The difference is 0. And I can go ahead and post. Let's look at another scenario.
Now, I know that some of my accounting friends are very hesitant to have AI suggest financial postings, right? We don't know what it's going to say, but it is important to remember that AI complements your work rather than replacing it. You still maintain control. And Microsoft in BC allows you to do that. So if you're hesitant to use the auto posting, you can alternatively transfer to a journal batch using the transfer to general journal, pick your GL account, and then post from the batch. So Copilot even makes your manual process a little bit easier. So this is where you pick your balancing account type, your account, and you're picking it. It's not being suggested by Copilot, but it allows you to do it faster. Now let's shift gears and talk about something we all love, audits. During and after reconciliation, Business Central lets you generate reports. This is great for transparency and it helps during audits. You have a matched and an unmatched bank statement line, and you can also have a report about the adjustments made during the reconciliation process. All these reports can be customized to fit the specific needs of your organization. You can also choose to filter by date, by amount, by status, whether it's reconciled or unreconciled, and you can export these reports to formats like Excel, where you can do further analysis, or have it in PDF to share it with others. You can also get a report of the outstanding transactions that require further attention. This is an example of a bank account statement. And this is a thing that is out of the box, but it can be customized. Now let's cover a few best practices. Firstly, perform recs regularly, either daily or weekly, so that the errors don't pile up. Secondly, make sure you're consistently using the same format for your bank statements. And finally, use Copilot to automate as much of the process as possible. Moving to frequent reconciliations with Copilot will definitely help catch errors earlier. Catching errors early can also prevent a small issue from snowballing into a major problem at the end of the quarter. You also want to handle discrepancies with tolerance levels. Review outstanding transactions regularly with the report that I just showed, and utilize audit trails and leverage Copilot's insights. Thank you for joining us. I hope this session has given you a clearer understanding of how Copilot can revolutionize your bank rec process. And I am going to hand it over to Lily so she can take this further.
All right. Thank you so much. That was great. And thank you to everyone who joined us. We appreciate your time. Before we head out, I do want to remind you to keep an eye on your inbox for a follow-up email, which will include a link to the webinar recording as well as the link to the slides. And with that, we'll sign off. Have a great day, everyone. See ya.
Thanks. Bye.